How did HBO keep House of the Dragon under budget? With a production budget of $200 million for its first season, HBO's House of the Dragon is set to be one of the most expensive TV shows ever. But it's still not as expensive as Netflix Stranger Things or Amazon's new Lord of the Rings show, which is expected to cost a staggering $465 million for its first season. So, what made HBO's production less expensive? In this video, we're going to explain 1. The House of the Dragon production costs, 2. How HBO kept costs down, 3. The importance of tracking tasks, and 4. How you can download and customize a presentation template we created to get started. If you want to go straight to the presentation explainer, you can do so now. It takes a lot of work to make each House of the Dragon episode, and showrunners Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik had to manage schedules and track progress with multiple departments, from costume designers to editors to even CGI developers. The first season of House of the Dragon will have 10 episodes, each with a budget of $20 million. That's over twice the budget of the first season of Game of Thrones, which cost nearly $100 million. HBO set aside a total of $100 million just for marketing purposes for House of the Dragon, making the series its biggest marketing campaign ever. Yeah, take that in for a second. $100 million just for marketing. That's a lot of dragon billboards. No wonder I see so many dragons everywhere I go, and yeah, it's not just happening in my head. Casting for the show began in July 2020, while filming began in April 2021. The main cast makes between an estimated $100,000 to $300,000 per episode, which adds up to a pretty sizable chunk of the overall budget. House of the Dragon was filmed all over locations in the UK, Spain, Portugal, Iceland, and Croatia. Some of these locations were more expensive to film in than others, while some countries actually gave the production team money because the film boosted their local economies. The composer, Ramin Djawadi, who's behind the memorable theme music of the original Game of Thrones series, is estimated to make around $500,000 per season of the show. I personally noticed they reused the theme song from the original Game of Thrones, and honestly, who can blame them? Such a catchy tune. Lead costume designer Jamie Tamime was compensated a similar amount. The cost of CGI is another important piece of the puzzle, since it requires a lot of people and computer resources. 10 minutes of CGI came out to around $800,000, and when you consider the number of CGI dragons in the show, that adds up pretty quickly. So many dragons everywhere. Wait, is that a... Ah! Alright, so how did HBO ensure they made the most of their resources and stick to a schedule while not going over budget? Well, they learned from their previous experience on the original Game of Thrones show. They could also reuse certain assets from the original show too. Before filming, the writing team spent a lot of time working on scripts. A first draft typically took 3 weeks, but rewrites usually happen throughout the year. By spending more time up front perfecting the scripts, they could save more time in the long run. HBO also learned to use high-quality actors whose salaries were flexible. Remember that most Game of Thrones actors were largely unknown at first, and therefore their salaries were not as high as they could have been. To film each episode, the showrunners had to coordinate the cast and crew around tight production timelines. Every day counted and had to be as efficient as possible. But by tracking their progress and using prior knowledge from previous shoots, they could build schedules around what they already knew worked. Game of Thrones had a total budget of $1.5 billion. Yeah, you heard me, billion. And earned HBO $3.1 billion just off subscriptions alone. If House of the Dragon can replicate the success, then HBO will consider its investment well worth it. So, how can you track important tasks and manage your own projects more efficiently? Companies that develop better project management practices save 28 times more money than those who don't. Use the time and money saved to invest in more innovative ideas for greater productivity. Download our task tracker presentation to save time with daily, weekly, and monthly checklists. Organize tasks by priority, due date, percentage complete, team member, and plenty more options. Our task tracker collection provides customizable checklists and management tools, which you can customize for any business need. 45% of executives report Gantt Charts as their most used project management tool. Use the slide to measure tasks accurately and track them across multiple phases of a project. Fill in each row according to the status of each task and create more precise timelines to share with your team. Manage team activities across multiple employees with this task assignment table. Create a top-level overview of who is assigned which task with due dates. See how many tasks each member has completed, and then identify bottlenecks. The number of tasks assigned to each employee is shown at the bottom. These numbers are separated by the status of each task, whether it's done, in progress, or hasn't been started. It looks like Ryan Hansen hasn't started a few tasks in a while. Not a good look, Ryan. Use a goal tracker to review how often daily tasks are accomplished over a month-long period. Help team members prioritize their most important tasks and show how their day-to-day productivity adds up. Each checkmark represents a day of the week when a task should be completed. And the progress tracker provides a visual comparison between tasks that are on track and tasks that are overdue, with both pie chart and bar chart visualizations. All these task trackers can add significant value to your productivity and project management. According to the Project Management Institute, companies with clear project management structures have 38% more successful projects than those who don't. And don't forget, you can download and customize this task tracker right now to save time and hours of work. Now, for more efficient meetings, go check out our video on meeting productivity for additional tools and insights to learn how to save hours of work as you plan your next meeting agenda. Thank you so much for watching.